Take two. Just had a tire pressure sensor come on and tell me there was no air in my left front tire. I think I'd noticed that one. Anyway, it's been that kind of day. I had every intention of getting on here after doing my 8 and having a witty discussion with y'all about how we were going to open municipal beaches and the expectation of enforcing of crowd limits and social distancing. And how I was going to say that's about as realistic as having a no-pee section in the lake. But there's some other stuff going on that bears a little bit more discussion than Governor Wolf and his dopey orders and so on. I'd rather take a minute and talk to you all about a gentleman named George Floyd. If you don't know who he is by now, briefly, Mr. Floyd was a husband, a father. I believe, if I read correctly, he was a security officer or worked in some security capacity in the Minneapolis area. And he was unemployed due to the COVID issue. Mr. Floyd, don't know if he was on unemployment or not, but I remember when I was on unemployment and that did not pay anything close to what my regular salary did. And I guess being the father of some children, wanting to get, the necessities for said children and I guess his wife, I'm not sure the circumstance of that part of it, passed a counterfeit 20 and was summarily arrested for it. And then killed by the arresting officer, who put his knee across his throat for something like 8 minutes. Listen to the guy say he can't breathe, and slowly not say anything at all, and die right there on the pavement. Took the DA, forgetting that there was all sorts of video evidence, including the officer's body cameras, that said officer killed this guy, and his 3 patrol partners stood by and watched. That was, the 22nd or the 23rd? I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't spank me too hard on it. It took them until today to charge one officer, that was the one whose knee was on Mr. Floyd's throat, with 3rd-degree murder and manslaughter. Now, I know they like to move slow up there in Minnesota, based on a few years ago when that other cop shot the Australian lady that walked up to his car. Took him forever to charge him, right? That was a black cop and a white lady. This was a white cop and a black guy. So I guess by Minnesota standards, 4 days as opposed to months. Or no, not 4 days. Hell, I can't math. A week as opposed to months is pretty quick by their standards. However, if that was a random civilian that did that to another civilian, pretty certain those charges would have been forthcoming most Ricky Tick. I have a couple of big problems with that whole situation. I'm going to work through this as I drive. The first is, once you place a suspect in handcuffs, you're responsible for their well-being and safety until you hand them over to the county jail, the paddy wagon, whomever is going to take custody of that suspect. Number one. Number two, there were 3 other officers. Just sat there and watched him do it. Didn't say a word. Didn't say a freaking word. Number 3, if I injure you during the course of arrest, I'm required to either 1, render aid, or 2, procure aid, or 3, both. I saw the video. A real problem with it. I do. And now, these 4 a-holes, I'm going to try and keep this PG. These 4 a-holes just put a bullseye on the back of anybody else that wears a badge and a gun. Before you get in there and you say, oh, it's systemic racism in police departments, it's this, it's that. No, this guy was a murderous a-hole. Yes, you have bad apples in every bunch. Apparently you had 4. I can tell you unequivocally, I didn't start doing what I do to, I don't know, willy-nilly kill people or injure them for my own amusement. Quite the opposite. So as a result, you've got the Floyd family, who's pretty pissed off. Understandably. Protests going in the city of Minneapolis, understandably. Followed by riots. We're not talking a couple of rocks. If you're listening to this, you probably already saw the news. They burned the damn police precinct to the ground. Kind of have some mixed feelings on that, too. Businesses were destroyed. People's property was destroyed. That's not a protest. That takes credibility from George Floyd. That doesn't give credibility to his cause. Hell, tonight, read on the news that CNN headquarters got attacked. Now, I'm no fan of CNN, but what are you trying to prove? The White House is on lockdown. because people were protesting and getting violent in the park across the road. Now, I don't know. But old President Trump sent the FBI there within 3 hours to begin a federal investigation for civil rights charges. I think you might be protesting the wrong person. I'd be in front of that municipal building, city hall, whatever the hell they call it, or the DA's office, protesting that it took them as long as they did to charge one officer with third-degree murder and manslaughter. Especially for a case that's never going to see the inside of a courtroom. That's going to be a plea deal. I think we all know that. Now, I don't know what their levels of charges are or what differentiates third-degree murder from second-degree murder from first in Minnesota. But I'm pretty sure that they could have, at the very least, gotten a second-degree murder charge out of it and charged the other 3 officers as accessories after the fact. I read, well, now, not relevant. To me, it's not Black Lives Matter or White Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter or this Lives Matter or that Lives Matter. So when you put on that uniform, start your shift. All lives in the jurisdiction that you serve matter. Yeah, I know the Supreme Court already ruled the police have no obligation to protect you. They also have no privilege to kill you for their own amusement, for their own, I don't know, because they're sick. Now, this isn't an anti-cop rant by any stretch of the imagination. If you watch my intro video, you know what I do for a living. And if you don't, quick clue. All right? You get it now? Burning your city to the ground doesn't help your case. Destroying people's property doesn't help your case. There were 7 people shot in one of the protests, not in Minneapolis, elsewhere. That doesn't help your case. Moving on, you as the armed prepared citizen, me as an armed prepared citizen, as well, that's what I am now. I'm off the clock, right? What does that mean to you? What does that mean to me? It means you need to be very aware of your surroundings. And knowing that the Minneapolis police pulled all their officers back to the point where they burned the damn police precinct to the ground should tell you that you're responsible for your own safety and your own well-being if you should get caught in a situation like that. The fact that the National Guard had to be called out because the mayor said, well, let them go. Let them do it. Should tell you that you're responsible for your own safety should you be caught in a situation like that. The fact that the National Guard received credible threats against its personnel that were deployed, to the point where they were issued weapons and ammunition for their defense, should tell you that you're responsible for your own safety if you find yourself in a situation like that. And if you do find yourself in a situation like that, be it by happenstance or because you think it's a good idea to go there, I can't imagine why at any point in time somebody would think it's a good idea to poke their head in on a riot and see how it's going. There's a potential for that powder keg to erupt on a level that most people can't even possibly imagine. Yeah, I don't know. 16 minutes, 42 seconds talking about this. I guess you can tell I might be a little pissed off about this situation in general and how it was handled by the powers that be. Anyway, we'll unpack it more another time. I'm gonna put on some tunes and jam out for the rest of my ride home. Anyway, be safe. Watch your six. Out for now.